Hello. I'm going to be talking to you today about professional dispositions. I am Atlee Maynard. The first question that was asked is, what dispositions do you possess that make you a successful teacher? I have picked 4 that I feel that I follow through with most of the time and help me in my teaching. The first one is keeping my personal and professional life separate. How I do that is by not adding parents or students onto my personal social media. We use Class Dojo as a school, and so that's the only social media platform that I will add parents and students on. A lot of my parents are on Facebook and Twitter and all of that, and I just don't feel that it is appropriate to share that part of my life with them. If I were to have a close relationship with a family, and when their student graduated out of my school, all of their children, then I would possibly consider adding them in later. I teach first grade, so I don't have a lot of children on social media trying to add me, but I do have kids with apps that they try to connect with you on, or YouTube, or they would like to send you things through Messenger, and I just feel that that is not appropriate. If they need to send me something, they can send it through Dojo, they can bring in a note, call me, those kind of things. Second, my professional relationships. Again, that goes with the parents. The way you talk with them, the way you communicate with them needs to be in a professional manner so that it's recorded, it's in my parent communication log, and that we're all on the same page. With my colleagues, I feel that we have to be professional at all times. You might not get along, and they might not be your favorite person. You might have different views on teaching or professionalism in general, but you still have to have that line of respect. Take their opinions, take your opinions, mush them, do what you need to do, but you cannot be rude, you cannot be disrespectful to them. And I also think that with our students, we have to have those professional relationships. We do build such close relationships with our students that sometimes this line gets a little bit hard, I think. But I think it's important to keep that. The students need to know that you are there to educate them. That's your role. You're not there to be their friend. You're not there to make them feel good. You are there to teach them to read, to write, to do math. If you can help them and make them happy and make them enjoy learning, that's really part of the job too. But you're not there to just make their life happy, because if they don't like math, you can't substitute math for something that makes them happy. I think that believing in your students is important. All of my students are capable of doing something. They may not all come out with the same outcome, and they may not all have the same abilities, but they all have the ability to grow. I had a student this year that was extremely low. She learned how to tie her shoes. She learned how to sweep. She learned how to use her books properly. She might not be reading really well, but she can use her book. She also built her confidence on online programs, so she can start building those basic skills. I also had a student who started the year, the beginning of first grade, on a 3rd grade level. She left first grade on a 5th grade level because she had the potential and we had to move her forward. So believing in your students doesn't mean they're all have the same ability, and doesn't mean they're all going to have the same outcome, but you have to believe that they all can do something great. Last, I think that continuing education is important, hence taking grad courses right now. It's important for my students, but it's also important for me to make sure that I'm continuing to be successful. The ones I need to work on, I want to work on improving my cultural understanding of my students and their families, and being able to integrate their backgrounds into my lessons. I would also like to start reflecting more deeply and more regularly on my lessons and my classroom management styles so that I can improve and become better for my students. And last, what does a professional educator look like and how do they behave? I think anyone that's a professional educator has respect for their students, their staff, their families, just like we talked about before. I feel that they have to be prepared. You need to be at school before your students. You need to have your copies made, being prepared, knowing what you need to do, having a backup plan in case things go wrong. There's a fire drill, there's a surprise visitor, a child threw up all over the room, the heater blows up, anything. There's lots of things that happen. Technology goes down. You have to be prepared because you've got to keep these kids engaged and in their learning environment the whole time. You can't just waste time. You need to understand your students' needs. They all have different needs. Some of them have more needs than others, but you need to know what those are, address them, and be ready. And then lastly, you need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to be able to communicate and let students know what's going on, what their expectations are, parents, staff, anybody else that you encounter. So as professional educators, which we all should be, there's a lot of things that we need to do to keep ourselves at that level. We have high standards because we need to be. We're making those personal connections. And we have to keep ourselves on the professional side and not become lax because we have that personal relationship. Thank you.